This week I'm going to reflect on the drama department's contribution to Hertford Victorian Christmas Fair. Hertford is the village where Hertford High School is, and every year they organise a Christmas fair with all the local businesses and shopkeepers, and traditionally the schools take part and offer some form of entertainment to the day. So traditionally drama contribute towards the Christmas carol service, and this year it was due to be cut out due to time constraints from both the timings and also the head of drama who had other commitments. So my initial thoughts were horror and disappointment. I really felt that drama needed to have a place in the service to represent the drama department and allow the pupils to perform. So what I did was I had talks with the head of drama, who in turn had talks with the head of the RE department, who oversaw the proceedings and gave us a 5-minute slot, as long as I promised to organise it in its entirety. I'm just going to quote some theory here from a book, Performing Together, the Arts and Education, and that was published by the American Association of School Administrators and the Alliance for Education and the JFK Centre for Performing Arts. The future of our nation depends on our ability to create and be creative. During the coming decades, our most important national resources will be human resources. If our nation is to contribute and to continue to meet the challenges of the future, today's schools need to develop creative leaders. And I felt that our pupils needed the opportunity to be creative. They weren't given a choice as to whether drama had a slot in the Christmas carol service or not. They were just they just wouldn't be told at all. It just wouldn't happen. And whilst the arts is very much represented in the service in terms of music and performing, drama wasn't, and I felt it was important for the children and the pupils to have a voice. My mentor and indeed the head of the RE were very supportive and welcomed the inclusion of the drama to the service along with the other arts. And this came about we were asked to perform at the Victorian Christmas that I mentioned at the beginning of this reflection. So we were asked also to contribute to Hertford Victorian Christmas Fair, which took place around 2.5 weeks before the carol service. So what did I do? As I run the drama club every week on a Wednesday, I asked a number of the pupils if they wanted to be part of the carol service and the Victorian Christmas. I chose and I adapted a nativity script, and once I had numbers in, final numbers of who wanted to be part of the drama, which ended up being a nativity, and I got a final commitment from them, and we started to rehearse. So, did it work? Well, no. I had to replace Joseph, who wholeheartedly committed to me and promised faithfully to turn up to lunchtime rehearsals. But he didn't turn up to 3 rehearsals, despite me sending messages via his form tutor, despite me seeing him personally in the morning and saying, we have got rehearsals this lunchtime, please make sure you're there. And he didn't come, and we were about 10 days before the Hartford Victorian Christmas, I really started to panic because obviously Joseph, a key part in the Nativity, and I thought at one point, blimey, I'm going to end up playing Joseph myself. Also, the prologue didn't turn up, and I had to replace her as I did Joseph. So what I did was I had a Year 11 pupil who took part in the Shakespeare in Schools Festival in November last month. He did extremely well, got through to the next round, and although he's not drama, he is an extremely confident performer and an excellent public speaker. So I asked him if he would do it, and he agreed, thank goodness. It wasn't very nice to tell the other boy I'd had to replace him, but I really hoped that he would learn something from that. And I did speak to him about the level of commitment, and the commitment is absolutely everything when you agree to take part in a performance. So we rehearsed every lunchtime, 4 times a week, for a week and a half, well 2 weeks and a week and a half with the Joseph, the new Joseph. The morning of the performance, the prologue didn't turn up. I was going to read it out. Fortunately, prologue not a huge part of the drama, just a short few lines at the beginning. So I was going to do it. I have a 9-year-old daughter, nearly 10, and I thought, well, it's all about children, I'll get her to do it. So I annotated it into simpler language, and bless her heart, she did it. It was an outdoor performance, which wasn't ideal. There was quite a lot of road noise, and there was a queue for a hog roast right next to where we were performing. So we thought, oh great, loads of people come to see it, and they were actually queuing up for pork sandwiches, but never mind. The performance was absolutely excellent, and the costumes we put together with the pupils and myself, and we put together, they looked absolutely brilliant. They were excellent. What would I do differently? As I just mentioned, it was an outdoor performance. We were led to believe that it would be undercover, however, and I think next time I would ask to see the space first and to fine-tune exactly where we would be, and also talk about the audience and where they would stand, because this queue for food and the actual people that were watching the performance just got blurred, and again it wasn't ideal, all these kids giving it their all. So I think that it could have been clarified much better between the organisers and ourselves, the school. In terms of rehearsal, I think what I'd do differently is pupils were turning up really late for rehearsal because they were queuing up to get their lunch in school, and towards the end I write them a note, please can so-and-so go to the front of the queue because they're rehearsing, and came back within 5 minutes. I would do that from the beginning, most definitely. We only have 40 minutes for lunch. If they can get their lunch in 15 minutes and have kind of a good 20-25 minutes rehearsal, then that would be much better. I think I would do more vocal coaching and voice exercises, and some of the pupils were their commitment and their effort, their passion, their enthusiasm, all fantastic, but just their voices, we couldn't really hear them very well. And I know the noise from the road and the hog roast, and it didn't help, but I actually did some vocal coaching exercises with the pupils, and for the carol service 2 weeks later, and it was very, very much improved. So overall, a fantastic performance from my pupils. I was so proud of them. They did a fantastic job in quite a short amount of time, and we did improve it for the carol service a couple of weeks later.